Today's micro moment is at the request of several people who have asked us, how do you clean your cast iron pots after they have been used? And so that's what we're going to do. I'm going to do a couple of skillets today, and then later on we'll show how we do the Dutch ovens as well. So yesterday we made refried beans in this skillet. And it was all I could do to not clean this yesterday, but I wanted to add another pan this morning, and in my little 8-inch I made scrambled eggs this morning. And notice that this is the Lodge one that still has the lumpy bumps on it from the manufacturer's seasoning, and I had some sticking here, which was a little disappointing. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to put some warm water just over the sticky places on that one. And while that one soaks for just a couple of minutes, I'm going to go ahead and clean this one. Now this one is one of the ones that I have just stripped down to the metal and re-seasoned. And so I am hoping that it's just going to wipe out. This one doesn't have the bumps, it's very smooth on the bottom. So let's see how that goes. And I'm just going to be using this plastic pot scrubber to see. Oh yes, it's coming off just great. So on this one, I'm not using any soap, just some warm water, and it's not hot, it's just warm water. Okay. I'm feeling with my fingers to be sure that I have everything off. And I do. So that came off just like a charm. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a dish towel and dry it. Now because water can be an enemy to cast iron, I'm also going to put it right here on this propane stove, and I'm going to turn the heat to about medium. And I'm just going to let that heat dry out the skillet completely. And then we're going to treat it with a little bit of Crisco. Meanwhile, I'm going to come back to this one. Let's see how it does now that this is soaked for a couple of minutes. This is a little more difficult, but it looks like it's coming. The reason that I'm using just warm water and not super hot water is that I'm not particularly interested in the metal doing any expanding. Now if you notice, I don't know if you can see that in that light, that's not completely clean, but I couldn't tell that. There's some egg left right there and right there and right there. And this is more difficult to clean because of those darn little bumps. So I'm going to give it another scrub. Okay, I think we got it this time. Right, this one is now heated all the way around, and so it is smoking just a little bit. That's what I wanted to see. So I'm just going to drop a tiny tad of Crisco in here and let it get all melted. And I want it to go all over the bottom. I've just turned the flame off. I'm going to use these shop towels. Someone asked me what it was that I was using when I did the video where we completely stripped the cast iron and then re-seasoned it. And I find these to be wonderful. We get this in this big old bulky box at Home Depot. So I'm folding this over to where it is in fourths, and it's not too hot. I'm going to put this little handle on there anyway, and then taking it off the heat, I'm just going to wipe it out completely. Okay, Then I'm just going to let it sit there until it completely cools. It's still very, very hot. And then we will do the very same thing to this one as well. I'll turn the flame back on, heat it up, and then make sure that it is hot enough that I can put the Crisco in here, and we'll get another batch of that Crisco going. So I'm going to wipe this one down again. I just want a very thin, thin layer on here. All right, I'm going to let this one cool over on the stove. And now we'll do this one. All right, I'm seeing some smoking, so I'm going to put a little Crisco in there. Let that heat for a minute. There are lots of ways to clean these pans. Some people say don't ever use soap. I'm not averse to using a little bit of dishwashing soap, especially if it is cooler water, and there are just some reasons why a little bit of soap is needed. I would never use a whole lot, and then I would rinse it carefully. Okay, this is ready to wipe. Turning off the flame. All right, this one's just going to sit here until it's completely cool. And when both of them have cooled enough, we will put them back in the cabinet. And that's all I do to clean, at least so far. I have not yet come across food that is so badly stuck that I can't get it off. I am looking at a couple of other tools to have on hand in case that happens. And once it does, we'll come back and give another chapter in how to clean these cast iron skillets. So thanks very much, and we'll see you at our next Micro Moment.